How's everybody doing? It's Mask here, and I'm hanging out with Kirames, who placed rank 5 in OCE in the World Championship final qualifiers, which is pretty crazy. Although, I mean, I know a lot of you are probably going to say, well, the DP looks a lot lower in that region, but that doesn't matter. You can only really get higher if you can play against other people that are closer to yourself as well. I'm sure the competition was still there, but how you doing, Kirames? Introduce yourself.
I'm doing good. So I streamed like for 22 hours Sunday. We did as much as we could. We just started climbing like crazy. Like we staggered for like a few hours, and then I busted out the Venus deck, and within like I think it was like 60 games, we were ranked 5 or something. It was just a crazy, crazy day.
How many games in total did you play? You think?
I didn't play as much because the tournament actually caught me at a really bad time. I had an exam Friday morning, so I raced home, and then the tournament started at 6 p.m. on the Friday, and then I wasn't in King of Games yet. So I only started cranking it out on Sunday. So I only really played for one day.
You were not in King of Games on Friday?
No.
What?
Yes.
What? So when did you get King of Games?
So I'll go through the whole backstory.
Yeah,
so,
you know what? Start me off on the Thursday that the everything start. Well, obviously that's no point. Start me off on Friday. Walk me through your Friday.
Yeah, so it was Friday for me. It came out. It was like the qualifiers just started. I was streaming the whole time. So, and we got plat 1 in like 8 hour stream. So we cranked out because obviously you started all the way back down to rookie, right?
Oh,
do you remember that far?
You started at rookie on Friday.
Well, everyone did. Everyone did, right?
Oh, you're talking about the original Friday. Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. So when you were first able to qualify, and then the next day, which was I think it was either Saturday or Sunday for me, we streamed for 12 hours and we just staggered. We were 1 game away from King of Games, and then we lost that, and then we tilted back to plat 2. And I was so mad. I had an exam on the Monday, the Tuesday, and the Friday of that week. So I did not play the game at all since that Saturday stream. So I was still plat 2.
So the first Saturday, Sunday. That's probably like, yes. I'm ballparking June 3rd-ish in that ballpark. Yes. You almost got King of Games, but you didn't. And then obviously you were busy the entire week, and you couldn't pick the game back up till when?
So it was the Friday morning. So this is Australian time zone. It was Friday 6 p.m. is when
the actual final qualifier started. Okay.
And I had an exam Friday morning at 9 a.m. It went for 2 hours, so I finished at 11. I raced home because I needed to get King of Games, right? So I could,
of course,
I could play as soon as it came out. And then there was maintenance for 2 hours, and then at 4:30 is when the maintenance lifted. So I had an hour and a half to get King of Games from, I think I was plat 2 at the time. So I could be on the same level as everyone else.
Of course.
So I said to the stream and those who were there, I said, all right, I'll put a picture of the Dark Magician girl on the stream. All right, she's going to give us luck. At 6:10, we got King of Games. So in
no way, you were 10 minutes late for the World Championship qualifiers. What?
I remember because you just started streaming. I said to my chat, I'm not King of Games. Go and watch MasKScarin because I'm not. You can go and check the VOD if you don't believe me.
I believe it. I believe it. So and then you got off. Then you got off right around that time.
Yeah. So I was at 2 wins out of the 5 when you started stream, like when it started. So I quickly did the last 3 games on stream, and we managed to win. But by then I was so tired because I had an exam that morning.
Oh, of course.
I just went to bed. I'm like, I can't. I need to wake up tomorrow morning fresh. I can have all Saturday and Sunday to just smash it out.
You know what? That was one of the things I actually think I regret about most of the tournament is I shouldn't have sacrificed sleep as much as I did. I feel like there was a lot of games that if I didn't lose any of those ones that I lost specifically because I was tired, I actually fell asleep during 3. But I felt like I kept sacrificing sleep thinking that it was what I needed to do. But I feel like if I just slept normally, it would have done so much better. So you started fresh on Saturday. And how did your Saturday go?
Well, Saturday didn't go too well
And, oh, and
because
sorry, what decks were you running? What deck did you run to get into King of Games on Friday?
I used just a standard Harpy hunting ground deck.
Oh, yeah. Fair
Um,
enough.
it's what I used. It was consistent, so yeah.
Is that what you started off on Saturday with?
No, so Saturday was weird. So I woke up Saturday and I streamed for about 2 hours. And what I didn't realize is that we had a family outing for the whole afternoon and night, and I completely forgot about it.
Saturday afternoon and night.
So I streamed for 2 hours. I can't remember how many games I played. And then Mum comes in, I'll stream. Mum comes in, she goes, "Do you remember we had this outing for the..." And at that point, like the penny sunk. I'm like, I'm not even going to be able to play. Like I'm going to have one day to do something in this tournament. Like, and so Friday I had an exam. Saturday I couldn't do anything. And then the Tuesday I also had an exam. So I'm like, I have to prepare for this exam. I have to go to this outing, and I have to try and qualify for Japan all in one tournament, all in one weekend. I'm like, so Saturday I went to this outing. I managed to get out early, but I needed to prepare for the exam on Tuesday. So I'm like, all right, I can't play the game. I can't stream so I spent like 4 hours preparing for the exam.
Right, and you got to.
And
you
then
did that
Sunday,
first. You prioritized the exam first. Got that out of the way on the Saturday.
And then Sunday was the day where I was like, okay, I need to grind.
This is it.
Because I'd only played like, I think I was at 11,000 points. I only played a couple games up to that point.
So you were at 11,000. That's like really that's just like a win-win loss on Sunday. So what deck? Well, I guess you didn't really get to play much at all in the actual final qualifiers on Saturday. So what deck did you start playing on Sunday?
So Sunday I started streaming, and then that's when I started grinding. So I had 28 hours before the end of the event to do something. So I started with a Harpy relinquished deck. So 3 Kirames, 3 relinquished, just to get the nerves, because I was still pretty nervous, right?
Of course.
If you remember, like when the tournament first started, you were probably nervous about how you're going to go.
I was losing my mind. Yeah, no, and I
was still in that state on the Sunday, and I was streaming, so I wanted to do well for the viewers and stuff. So I just started with that. I did okay. I won. I think my win ratio was like 60 wins, and it was around 33 losses or something like that.
That's really good. Was that your win ratio at the end?
Yeah, with that deck. Yes.
With the deck. So Harpy Relinquish, I did run that a lot too in the tournament. It did really well. It was one of the higher performing ones. Guns Blazing actually ran Harpy Relinquish for the first half of the tournament almost. Maybe not the entire first half, but a lot of it. But so you switched from Harpy Relinquished, you said, to Venus?
Yeah, so I was going to change after 50 games with the Relinquished deck, but it was doing so well that I decided to keep going. But then it started to lose. I was losing to a lot of Weeble.
Right.
And a lot of the Relinquished Harpy deck wasn't doing well against vanilla Harpy decks, but was doing well against everything else. So I played 2 games of Weeble, lost those, and then I was starting to get tilted because I was losing I lost like 5 of the last 6 at that point. And I was told my chat, I was like, I'm so tilted right now. What do I do? I was ranked I think I was ranked around the 200 mark at that stage. I knew I only had I think at that stage I only had 15 hours to do something. And then I decided to go back to my roots with the Venus deck. I've gotten King Games twice with Venus. Venus is my favorite deck, whether it's good or not.
I honestly don't have a whole lot of experience with Venus.
But obviously, since the switcheroo nerfed, I wasn't sure if I should use it or not. So I played a couple games. I was 3-3, so I was like, it's doing okay. And then all of a sudden, we pulled out a 10-game winning streak. We were 16-4, and then I kept playing it and playing it and playing it. And then by the time the stream ended, I was rank 3. So yeah, it was just a crazy
rank 3, and you dropped from 3 to 5.
Yeah, so we streamed for 22 hours, and then at one point I was just destroying everyone with my Venus deck. but then at one point I lost 4 out of 5, and I said to the stream, should I go to sleep? I think there was 6 or 7 hours left for the event at that point, and I was ranked 3rd. I was like, do I stay up and try and push through this, or do I go to sleep for a couple hours and then get up early and try and get rank 1? So I decided to go to sleep at that point, and then I woke up, I was ranked 4, and then I played a couple games, I was losing.
So when you went to sleep rank 3, how much DP did you have?
I think I was around, it was like 68,000, which obviously isn't high compared to other regions, but...
Dude, that would have landed you rank 3 at the end of the tournament. How does that feel, knowing that, though? If you just stopped. That's a tough one, though, because you wanted rank 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can't stop then. So we all understand that.
And Malby, who was ranked 3, and Timmy, who ended up 1st, were in my chat, and they're like, you should go to sleep, wink, wink. I'm like, ugh. I was misplaying so bad, like, I couldn't even read the cards. I was misplaying, like, I misplayed like 6 times in the last 2 games. I'm like, I used Econ at the wrong... Oh, it's just horrible, those last 2 games. I'm like, all right, I need sleep.
Oh, I remember that. I think it was, I can't remember if it was J-Rabian or Jangular, who both also stream. I got matched up against them in a game, and I fell asleep while playing them, and they were messaging me during the game, and they're messaging me on Discord. Actually, I might be able to oh, I don't want to do that here. Whoa, why is that glitching? Oh, that's not working either. That was a big fail.
Were you streaming at the time? Was your chat like,
no,
wake up?
No, I wasn't streaming. No, I was, okay. I didn't stream. So I guess talking to you about the time frames is a little different for me, because for me it was like all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. But for you, the Friday didn't really count. For you, it was almost like a Saturday, Sunday, Monday thing.
Yeah, so I finished Monday at like 3 p.m. I think was the time, official close time.
So when I hear you talking about Sunday, I'm thinking like the last day grind, but no, you still had an opportunity to go to sleep Sunday after streaming, and then do a little more grinding on Monday. Yeah. So you peaked at 68K, and then obviously made the right decision to stop at 61 when you weren't having the best of luck on Monday in that final grind. But how close ahead of rank 6 were you? Do you remember?
It was pretty close. I think between 5 and 9, there was like a 6,000 point separation.
Okay. And how about Venus in general? How do you? So I actually heard a lot of people tell me Venus is literally god tier right now. Although it doesn't seem like anybody was giving it a chance.
I think it's good. It did better than I thought. Like at 3 and 3, I'm like, all right, it's doing, because restart is really fickle, right? Because you might get an average hand, so you might get like a Dynamis Witch and then an Order to Charge and an Econ, but you sort of need the Venus. So then you go restart and you get like 3 Shine Balls. It can brick. It can brick.
Of course.
So I was expecting that to happen a lot. So at 3 and 3, I'm like, all right, it's doing what I'm expecting it to do. I was running a bit different. I was running like Atmosphere, because Atmosphere is one of my favorite cards, even though it may not be that good. And I wasn't running Karibos like a lot of other decks do. And I was running a tech card Locust, because I was versing a lot of Karibo, Swarm Locust.
So you're running. I saw a lot of those, a lot of them, and I didn't even think of the possibility of teching it in just because of Weevil. So you're running one swarm of Locusts.
Yeah, I thought, all right, I'm versing a lot of Weevil. Let's just try it, and I did it, and it did okay. There was a lot of games where it wasn't that useful, like against Gravekeeper, it didn't really do much. But,
Gravekeeper's
against Weevil, it did a lot, because it destroyed the Burning Land, it destroyed the Master of the Curse, it got rid of the Winds, it got rid of the backline, which was really good. And it allowed me to order to charge safely, because obviously if you order to charge into an Econ, like it's sort of a 2-for-1. Sort of. And particularly if you want to Atmosphere, and then they have an Econ, they can sort of shut it down a little bit. So Swarm of Locust did a lot of work, but yeah.
Well, there's a lot of room in Venus decks too for stuff like that. I know one of my buddies who ran Venus. He actually ran 3 PDS and 3 Ladybugs in his Venus deck, because there's just that much room for cards like that. But that's interesting because you're always drawing into answers. But the Swarm of Locusts, and I actually am going to have to add that to my list of techable cards. It's in there. I wonder how it would perform in a Harpy deck in there just to counter your hard matchup of a Weevil. I
It
imagine,
did really well.
did you ever draw it in a time where you really didn't want to have it in your hand, though?
Yeah, there was some matchups where it just didn't really do much. Actually, towards the end, I versed a lot of clown decks, and it actually came through against clowns because clown decks, like I ordered to charge the clown, and then you can play the Locust, and you can really shut down their backline while they're trying to gain the board control again. Because
Right.
yeah, I versed like 5 or 6 clown decks in the space of about 2 hours, and the Locust came in huge, just getting rid of the sunlights, the windstorms.
Yeah, because the clowns are really just, they can set that first clown up and it's going to do work, but if you shut that clown down, they typically still have 2 to 3 back rows, and they sit there doing nothing until they get another clown down. But if you can clear that back row while they're just chilling there, you're really shutting them down.
Because the only back row I had was, I had one order to smash. I only had the one because I haven't leveled Weevil up all the way. So I'm like, I need more back row and I need to deal with Weevil. So I'm like, Locust seems just perfect, and I tried it and it did okay. It was, you know, it's just an extra body for the to get rid of, like, to play the atmosphere. It was that extra damage I needed too, just that extra sort of. It wasn't really a beater, but that extra 1,000 damage really came in useful in some matchups against, you know, 3-star demotion, for instance.
Now, do you find Weevil is one of the harder matchups? That's what was one of your hardest matchups as Venus?
No, actually, it was my hardest. So as I said, I started with the Relinquished Harpy, and I was getting wrecked by Weevil. Like every game, I was just getting destroyed. And then when I switched to Venus, I was winning 90% against Weevil because if they whistle me, I just play the Locust, and then
right.
Most of the time, I was getting Venus order to charge. I was getting rid of the cocoons. I was getting rid of the back row, and I was running 2 econs, 3 orders to charge. And my deck was just going so fast. I had 2 white elephants.
Oh yeah, when those start drawing, right? When Venus is having a good day, it destroys. I know I got wrecked by a few.
Another thing that sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say another thing that's good is when you see Parasite at the top of your deck, you can just play your Venus and bring out Shine Ball, and it shuffles your deck.
Oh, that's perfect.
And then Parasite's back at the, like, towards the bottom, and then if he decides to whistle, then you get your Locust. So it was very hard for Weevil to beat me. I think I only lost 1 or 2 in the space of...
Oh, obviously it whistled too. That's genius. That makes it even so much better. You'd whistle the Locust obviously instead of getting stuck with a Parasite. Yep. So now I'm going to ask you the same thing I've asked most people who I've had a chance to talk to. How do you feel about the overall format of the tournament? Where it, I guess you were able to sort of do most of it. No, really, it's not one. You didn't do the climb in 1 day. It's more like a day and a half because you did have Sunday, Monday. But I've talked to a lot of people, and they all compare it to other card games that have similar tournaments that have a duel per day cap. So you can do, for example, let's say you could do. I did 580 duels over the course of the weekend. So instead of that, let's say they cap it at 100 duels a day. You can do 100 duels a day, and then what you have after that, you're stuck. You can't duel anymore. What do you think about a format that would be somewhat like that instead?
I would support that because I feel like even though I only played for 22 hours, I would say properly, and I had a pretty good win rate. I had like a 70% win rate, 75%. Right. But people who had played the whole time could have had a 55% win rate, and they still could have been on top, right?
And that's where I'm getting at. That is exactly where I'm getting at. So it completely the limiting, absolutely. And I'm glad you thought about it the same way that I have. You could have a 60% win rate. Actually, 100K where Timmy was. You would probably need about a 65% win rate because you do start losing more than you're gaining. But you could have probably a 60, even 55% win rate, like you said, and climb still. Whereas someone who's actually doing very well, like you had a 70% win rate, really? 70?
Oh, with the Venus deck I did.
Yeah, fair enough.
Around that 60. it was quite low. It was around 60%, and then once I started playing Venus, it was up 65-70%
And
around
I'll
that.
tell
I
you,
think.
the people who finished around 80, 85, 90K in North America had about a 65 to 68% win rate. I knew a handful of people in that range. So, and that's just
Yeah.
because they grinded the whole time. Like, I would definitely support. Let it be a big number, sure. If you want a lot, I understand if Konami doesn't want to go this way because you want a lot of people to play in your game. That makes sense. Make it a big number then, but make it something that's actually livable.
Yeah.
100 duels in a day. That's a lot of time you got to designate to the game. At least you can sleep after doing 100 duels. That's the crucial part. Like, sure, you want to dedicate your entire weekend to the game. That's what it might take to win, but they're at least telling you, look, go to sleep. You've played enough today. And in 300 games, that should be more than enough to decide whoever actually has the best win rate out of those 300.
I think that would even make the games more intense, right? Because obviously every game mattered in the weekend, but if you've only got 100 games, every game matters that much more. So it might even make the games more intense.
And you know what? They definitely matter more than 100%. Because I actually was saying the opposite. I was saying we got the whole weekend. We win, we lose. These games hardly matter. Like that kind of a feeling was kind of floating around. And I guess one other question I got for you is, as a streamer, did you ever find yourself? Did you ever feel like you were getting stream sniped badly?
A little bit. I wouldn't say badly, but I did feel it. There were times when I versed the same sort of people. If I versed the same person twice in a row, then I would actually put up anti-ghosting stuff.
Fair enough.
But I never versed the same person 3 times in a row, so
Fair
I was
enough.
okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
No, you keep going. Sorry.
But it was really hard to tell. Like I did try and pick up on it, because obviously I wanted to do well. There were a couple people I felt like maybe they're sniping me, and there was one guy in particular. I've only got 2 traps in the deck. I'm not sure if it was just luck. I versed him 3 times in about an hour, and he was running D spell, and every time he hit my order to charge perfectly. Like, and that's when I was like, maybe I don't know.
No, well, that's the thing. If you're playing against people, they're from OCE. Your OCE's tiny in comparison to most places. I'm sure almost everybody who plays Duel Links in OCE knows you. At least has an idea who you are from streaming. And that makes perfect sense. So, like, and that's the thing. I got a couple other people I've talked to said it. I didn't stream on Sunday. I did not stream on Sunday, mostly because I was just really tired. My eyes kind of hurt. But I also felt my choices were stream on a delay, which I hate doing. I hate streaming on a delay. It makes you unable to interact with people. It's awful. Or cover my hand and stuff, which I also don't like doing. It takes away from the experience on stream, I find. But it's definitely staying competitive while streaming. I struggle with as well. I find it's hard. It really is, especially on a tournament like this. But yeah, I think that those are my 2 big questions for you. You've definitely given us the walkthrough on how it went. I must say, you're definitely the person who ranked the highest with the biggest stressful load of things you had to actually accomplish in your weekend. A family outing, exams, during, after, had to study, and you slept.
If it had been this weekend coming, it would have been so much better. I have no exams. I had nothing.
Buddy, you would have been number 1. Timmy, look out! No, I feel for it. So, personally, I wouldn't even mind if they did like a limited game format for this in the future, and then the KC Cup. Let the KC Cup still be like this. Sure, let the KC Cup be play as much as you can. Maybe keep both formats. Do one somewhere and one on one side, one on another side. But yeah.
And while you brought up the KC Cup, I would talk about the rewards, because I feel like the rewards were quite stingy.
So true. Right? That's totally
true. Obviously the KC, yeah. I think it was easier for Oceania people to get in the top 10, because there was only I had 11,000 points at one stage. I was ranked 300, right? So maybe they should have taken that into account. So in NA, the top 50 people get it. But next time I would have a top 150, top 20, top 10.
Absolutely.
that sort of thing.
Absolutely. That was I keep forgetting about that point. I keep overlooking the rewards, but absolutely I heard way too many people say, "Well, what's the point? I can't make top 10. Why should I even play?" It should not be like that. There's no way. And I know they were patting themselves on the back like, "Oh yeah, we gave ranks 1 through 10 million or ranks 11 through 10 million a reward, but still, you gotta spice the pot up a little. How about you know how you had a silver icon? How about a bronze icon? There was clearly the bronze, silver. You have the I want to get a picture of that gold icon. I should have had it up here on screen this whole time.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is the one I'm most jealous about, man. That is so wicked. That icon. When you go
was
into
it
a duel,
80 people have it? So
yeah, only 80
I was pretty happy
people
that I got
in
the
the
icon.
world have it.
Yeah,
But why not have a silver one for the top 100
exactly.
and a bronze one for 101 to whatever it was, and that would have been so much better. People had a reason to actually grind into the top 100 then. I think they've done pretty well from taking our criticism and improving on things. I do believe it's going to go well. I think they'll do it a little differently next time for sure. But
I really got to commend them for, like, even though it didn't run as well as we'd hoped, it was amazing. Like, was it I don't know how long it's been out for, but it's been like 8 months maybe. 8 months ago, I just picked up a game, played it for fun, and now I had a chance to go to Japan and compete. It's just growing lots. So I commend them for that. Sure.
And that's true too. I think one thing a lot of people who are trying to, and myself as well, who are criticizing them for how this went, are forgetting that they did it. This game, I've only been playing this game for it came out in North America 5 months ago, and they took a game that's about 5 months old, and they said, you know what, guys, World Championships, we're gonna do it. Let's do it. We're having it in, well, it was supposed to be in London, but we're having it in Japan now. And yeah, they took a 5-month-old game, and they're actually having a World Championship for that. So that you're totally hit it right there. And I haven't really looked at it through that lens before, where it is sure they didn't do it. They could have done it better, but they did it. And they did it at 5 months into the game. That is awesome. I like that optimistic look through the lens. That's it. That must be the Australian life there. You know, you just look at everything through the non-skeptical lens. I like it. But I think that's going to be pretty close to our... Yeah. Oh, no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like how transparent they're being. Like, I know a lot of, like, for those who played Pokemon Go, the body behind that just weren't transparent at all about fixing issues. But Konami are like, all right, yep, we screwed up. Here's 500 gems or whatever.
Yeah,
this is about every issue.
That's totally true.
They're really, yeah.
Whenever there's an issue, they're right away just boom. Look, this is wrong. We're trying to fix it. We fixed it. Sorry. Here's some gems. But yeah, I think that's great. Nice to hear about the adventure, how it went. Rank 5, pretty much all in the last little stretch there, which is nuts. We got your crazy new icon, and of course the streaming's going well. That I know you've been streaming for about as long as I have. I always see you in there. And yeah, is there anything else you wanted to say before we finish up?
Just thanks to all those who sort of tuned into my stream that day. It was just crazy intense, and I think the tournament was a lot of fun, even though the issues we spoke about. It was a lot of fun. It was just crazy intense. It was awesome.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Then, and I know I'm gonna mess this up now at the end here. You pronounce. Oh, actually, you know what? Before we go, tell me about your name. How did you come across the name Kirames?
All right, so I can't remember the exact age. I think I was grade 4 or 5, so I was like 10, 11 years old, whatever. And it was in school. I was in school, obviously, and we had to write some random story. And I needed a character name. And at the time, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh, right? That's why I play it now, nostalgia. And I was like, all right, I need a name. What should I do? And my favorite character at the time was Marek Ishtar, right? I think it was Battle City at the time. I don't know. And so I spelt it backwards, and that gave me Kiram. I was like, all right. And then all I did was add the ES. So my name comes from Marek, which is kind of cool because now I'm streaming a Yu-Gi-Oh game. Yeah,
it's fantastic. I love this story. That is actually fantastic. I was in grade 4, and I took Marek. I spelt his name backwards, and it didn't seem quite right, so I added an ES. And you've used that handle since then, right?
Yeah, so I used to play RuneScape, League of Legends, Hearthstone. I use that name tag everywhere now. So it's kind of funny. It's stuck. I'm 24 now, so it's like it's weird. Like 14 years later, I'm still using the name. It's just Crazy.
Well, man, that's awesome. Thanks for taking the time to come out and help set. I know it took us a while to even get this set up going. Definitely wasn't the 10 to 20 minutes I promised you it would be. And of course, lining up our time zones was a struggle. I think you're 14 hours ahead of me.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
This was great. I appreciate the look into your perspective of things, and yeah, getting to place top 5. That I'm crazy jealous. Just crazy jealous.
Thanks, Mask.
Let me just pull up one last time here. Let's actually just pull up the OCE group rankings here. Group H. So top 10, 10th place Carl with 53,000 DP. Man, it almost makes me wish I just moved to OCE for this event. Although they told you that wasn't going to work. I can fly out for the weekend.
I told everyone, come to Oceania before tournament even start. Like, come, it's gonna be easy. It's gonna be easier, but yeah.
Man, it's still awesome though. It's still so great. Well, good luck with the streaming, man. Of course, I'm gonna make sure there's a link to your stream down in the description below. We got it on screen on the right side there, right above them. And yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Stay tuned for more. I think the next person we're planning on interviewing is Creative Timothy, who placed 2nd place in North America. I'm excited to do that interview. I want to hear from him. I want to hear a lot about how his climb went. I've heard next to nothing. And don't forget to check out every time. Kirames? Don't forget to check out Kirames on Twitch, guys. What's your normal schedule like?
So I usually stream in the evening, so around 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Australian time. But I know a lot of you Americans, it's pretty late.
Let's translate that into Eastern for us. So 2 p.m. would be midnight. So that's midnight. 14 hours. So that's 10 p.m. Eastern time, I think. Yeah, 2 p.m. your time should be 10 p.m. Eastern till 4 a.m. So if you guys are late dwellers, you can check out Kirames live on Twitch from Australia. And I know half of you are gonna be like, that accent. I agree. Gotta love an Australian accent. It's always great. But thanks for checking this out, guys. And don't forget, stay classy.